There's 4 steps in getting the air box off. Remove the mass airflow sensor wire harness, then loosen the clamp at the throttle body. Your next step is going to be to remove the vapor hose, and then last is to remove the 2 clips that held the top air enclosure on. That all comes off as one assembly. Now while we're not showing it, you need to remove the 10mm nut that's about at the 3 o'clock position, and also there's another nut in the back. It takes a little bit of prying, but it does come right out. It's just held in with those 2 nuts. Now we didn't show it, but we just took the stock electronics out of the air intake tube. You saw that when we disconnected it. So now you're going to rescrew that back into the Granatelli supplied tube, but just make sure you put the arrow facing the throttle body. It'll say airflow. You want to make sure that's going in the right direction, otherwise sometimes you get a rough idle or even a check engine light. It's simple to follow. We like to pre-assemble it, so now you'll see we're going to install our 4-inch supplied coupler sleeve, and we're going to put the 2 hose clamps on in advance. It's a good idea to orientate the clamps in the same direction because it'll look better when you're done. What you see there is a little grommet hole. You're going to index the Granatelli supplied lid there and on that stud sticking off the shock tower. Notice how it slides over and the last one just kind of snaps in there. That's all it takes to get the air filter cover on. It's that simple. Now we didn't show it, but you're going to put a 10mm nut back on that stud. Installing the air tube itself is as easy as you can see. It just goes through the hole, and then you tighten those 2 clamps on. Now again, notice how the clamps are not even, but now he's going to take the other one and make it even. You want a nice clean installation, so the clamps need to be the same. What he's doing now is removing that hard plastic tube that went from the vapor line, and now we're going to install the supplied rubber sleeve, kind of like oil line. Just fish it underneath the heater tubes so it's for a clean installation. And that's going to, one side goes on the factory supplied side, the other one goes on the nipple that we actually give you, as you can see, from the factory line. Now notice how we're doing a close-up here. It just goes right back on the factory one. It's really not that hard. Then the other side will give you a close-up right here. You'll see it just goes on off the little fitting that we come off the tube. Last thing to do really is to put the air filter on. And again, you want to make sure that clamp is in an orientation that you can easily tighten it down. The air filter moves well over 1600 CFM, so it's more than the engine could possibly consume in a naturally aspirated configuration. It's also the same filter that we use on our Magnuson kits when we install it. The last thing we're going to do is fish the mass air wires around the back of the power steering reservoir. Make sure when you install them that you do it properly. It needs to be oriented correctly.